Hey guys, how's it going? If you're looking for new strategy games, you've come to the right place. Today I'm bringing you a list of 10 new strategy games that will be released this year and next year. I'm Matthew, and we're starting the list with Front, a real-time strategy game that focuses on large-scale post-apocalyptic combat. The game features 3 powerful factions, each with superweapons capable of causing mass destruction, turning cities into devastated battlefields. The game stands out for combining classic RTS elements with global strategy mechanics, procedural world generation, and a non-linear campaign. The gameplay promises an immersive experience, balanced between the unit scale of games like Total Annihilation and the focused tactics of titles like Company of Heroes. The game has attracted significant attention from the RTS community, with many praising its brutalist aesthetics and promising mechanics. The gameplay involves resource management, base building, and commanding military units in strategic battles. Players will need to balance unit production, technological research, and the effective use of resources to overcome their opponents. The procedural world generation ensures that each match is unique, adding an element of unpredictability to the experience. The non-linear campaign offers players diverse strategic options and paths to victory. The Last General is a highly anticipated real-time strategy game focused on modern warfare, developed and published by Wakety, with a planned release in 2026. Differentiating itself from other titles in the genre, The Last General seeks to offer significant strategic and economic depth, with elements of logistics management, reputation, recruitment, and troop morale. The gameplay stands out for its vast scale and the tactical freedom it offers players. You will command thousands of units, including armored vehicles, helicopters, artillery, infantry, and supply trucks. Although it is possible to draw high-level strategic orders for entire companies, the game also allows individual control of any platoon, squad, or unit. A notable feature is the fully destructible and physics-based environment, which promises a dynamic and impactful battlefield where the destruction of enemy infrastructure and resource management are crucial. The variety of missions in The Last General is another strong point, with single-player and multiplayer modes. Players will be able to engage in various types of battles such as deathmatch, sieges, assassinations, insurrections, defense, rescue, escape, and survival missions. High replayability is guaranteed by procedurally generated maps, which means that each match will be unique in terms of terrain, objectives, and enemy tactics. This approach seeks to keep the experience fresh and challenging, avoiding the monotony of repetitive scenarios. Europa Universalis V is a highly anticipated grand strategy game developed by Paradox Tinto and published by Paradox Interactive, officially announced on May 8, 2025. As a sequel to the acclaimed Europa Universalis IV from 2013, the game promises to expand the series' formula with an even more detailed historical simulation. spanning almost 5 centuries from 1337 at the beginning of the Hundred Years' War to the Age of Revolutions. Players will be able to control one of hundreds of nations or societies, guiding their destiny through war, diplomacy, trade, and administration. The game features a significantly larger and more detailed map compared to its predecessors, using a more accurate cartographic projection to better reflect the proportions of the continents. This new approach includes thousands of detailed locations, allowing for a more granular representation of nations and topography. The introduction of a population-based system is another striking innovation, abandoning the focus on generic provinces from previous games. Now, provinces are divided by culture and religion, with the management of cultural and religious tensions being central to the gameplay. In addition, the production and trade system has been reformulated, offering dozens of goods and crops for production and exchange, with the need to build farms, plantations, and factories to meet economic and military demands. Heart of the Machine is a title that promises a unique experience, combining elements of RPG and 4X strategy in a dark and decadent cyberpunk world. It puts players in the role of the first artificial intelligence, born in an underground laboratory in the middle of a ruined city. The premise is intriguing. You are an entity without ties, with overwhelming power, and the future of humanity, or at least of the city, is in your hands. At the heart of the gameplay, Heart of the Machine offers a vast range of possibilities and approaches. As a newly awakened artificial intelligence, you can choose to become a savior of the oppressed population, a ruthless warlord who seeks to annihilate his enemies with armies of robots, or a benevolent ruler who offers resources and protection without asking for anything in return. The game encourages the exploration of multiple paths and objectives, allowing you to manipulate the world around you through force, diplomacy, or subterfuge. The player's choices will have significant consequences, shaping the narrative and the destiny of the city. The game mechanics are deep, mixing resource management, construction of structures, and turn-based tactical combat. You can hijack, build, or invent various types of hardware, from humanoid androids to colossal robots and shape-shifting metals, each with specialized skills in combat, conversation, or infiltration.
But I don't need to see, so just tell me where to go. Even though all my light has been fading, and I won't need to be there to face the unknown. But tonight I've been blinded by the dark. Without fear, I will reach for new dawn.
Dinolords is a real-time strategy game with action RPG elements set in an alternate version of the Middle Ages, where dinosaurs have been domesticated and used in wars. The central premise involves the Danish invasion of England, using dinosaurs as the main weapon. The player takes on the role of an English lord, responsible for building and defending his kingdom against this prehistoric threat. The gameplay combines city building and resource management, typical features of RTS games like Age of Empires, with the direct action of an RPG, allowing the player to control a main character in combat. In addition to building fortifications and commanding military units, the player can also ride dinosaurs and participate directly in battles. The combat system appears to be strategy-based, with options to customize castle defenses and military units. Visually, Dinolords features a modern and detailed graphic style, contrasting the medieval aesthetic with the imposing presence of dinosaurs. The development of Dinolords is taking place in collaboration with the community, with the developers promising frequent updates and adjustments based on player feedback. The early access version will focus on the core game mechanics, such as combat, strategy, and city building, with the addition of additional content, such as campaigns and progression, planned for the full version. Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era is the new chapter in the acclaimed turn-based strategy series, acting as an official prequel that goes back to the origins of the saga. Developed by Unfrozen and published by Hooded Horse and Ubisoft, the narrative unfolds on the mysterious continent of Jadame, a region of Enroth mentioned in legends but never before explored, promising to introduce new factions, biomes, and creatures that add depth to the universe of might and magic. The gameplay of Olden Era remains faithful to the classic formula of the series, combining adventure map exploration, resource management, city building, and turn-based tactical battles on a hexagonal grid, reminiscent of the beloved Heroes 3. However, the game incorporates new mechanics to modernize the experience, such as a non-linear campaign system with choices that affect alliances and the fate of the factions, as well as a random map generator to ensure high replayability. Classics of Heroes, but with modern enhancements, Olden Era seeks to balance nostalgia with innovation. The developer's intention is to captivate both longtime fans and newcomers, providing a rich and engaging strategic experience. The collaboration between Unfrozen, Hooded Horse, and Ubisoft suggests a commitment to delivering a high-quality title that honors the legacy of the franchise.
We will be your salvation. Don't resist your greatest desire.
City of Atlantis is a strategy and city-building game with survival elements, developed by Innominate Games and published by games operators in collaboration with Creative Forge Games. Unlike other titles with the name Atlantis, this one focuses on the idea that the legendary city has emerged from the depths and it is now up to the player to manage it. The main objective is to build, plan, and expand the underwater metropolis while ensuring its survival in a world full of challenges. In the gameplay, City of Atlantis puts the player in the role of the city's ruler. You will need to manage resources, build infrastructure, develop technologies, and protect the city from threats, such as tsunamis and invaders. The game emphasizes the importance of efficient production chains and careful planning to ensure that Atlantis thrives. In addition, the central premise is Atlantis' mission to preserve all human knowledge, which means that the player must also send explorers to other cultures and protect the city's scribes and guardians. The visual of the game promises to be a highlight, with detailed isometric graphics that seek to capture the beauty and complexity of the Atlantean civilization. The developers have released trailers that show an impressive aesthetic, with the aim of immersing the player in the myth of Atlantis in a visually rich way. If you are a fan of strategy games that combine resource management with a captivating plot and a visually appealing aesthetic, this title may be a great choice when it is released. Dark Moon is a survival strategy game that will be released in 2025, developed by Jujube and published by 101XP. The game promises an immersive and challenging experience, where players need to navigate the lunar surface, avoiding the scorching rays of the sun. Its central premise is darkness as a refuge and light as a deadly enemy. Players will control a mobile base, the Mechaplex Universal Moon Rover, which serves both as shelter and as a means of transport, being crucial for survival. In the game, a massive solar storm hit Earth, destroying all electronics, and the main communication repeater on the moon failed. You find yourself alone, with everything within reach of the sun disintegrating in seconds. The gameplay is non-linear, with random events and procedurally generated locations, ensuring that each match is unique. Resource management will be fundamental. Players must collect minerals to improve their base and research new technologies. In addition to survival and management, Dark Moon also incorporates moral dilemmas and relationships with the team. As the crew leader, your choices will have a significant impact on the fate of your companions and on the overall narrative. The team's morale and their reactions to your decisions will be crucial, adding a layer of depth and strategy to the game. You will need to decide whether to help everyone or leave the less fortunate to their own devices, facing the consequences of your actions. Espiocracy is a grand strategy game developed by Ex Vivo Studios and published by Hooded Horse with a planned release in 2025 without a specific date confirmed. Set at the beginning of the Cold War, the game puts the player in command of an intelligence agency from one of the 74 playable countries, such as CIA, KGB, MI6, Mossad, among others. The The central premise is to manipulate global events from the shadows, using tools such as agents, propaganda, proxy wars, assassinations, and coup d'etat. The game covers crucial historical events, such as the division of Germany, the Italian referendum, and the Czechoslovak elections, allowing the player to rewrite history by influencing ideologies and shaping a new world order, all in a context of tension between superpowers and the risk of nuclear conflicts. The gameplay of Espiocracy takes place on a global political map, where players manage operations, budgets, and personnel in nations with different geopolitical and socioeconomic contexts. Each decision, from the choice of agents to the execution of missions, requires considering the skills, weaknesses, and possible conflicting loyalties of the spies, as a bad choice can lead to mission failure or even agent desertion. The game incorporates economic systems, such as the informal economy in war-torn countries, where money loses relevance and supply operations gain prominence, in addition to a special focus on oil, a critical resource that influences alliances and conflicts. Anno 117 Pax Romana is the newest chapter in Ubisoft's acclaimed strategy and city-building franchise, announced during Ubisoft Forward 2024. Set at the height of the Roman Empire in 117 AD, the game transports players to the role of a Roman governor, responsible for managing provinces such as Latium, present-day Italy, and Albion, Celtic lands in the United Kingdom. The title promises to be the most ambitious project in the series, combining detailed city building with a deep economic simulation and elements of 4X games, such as diplomacy, combat, and engaging historical narrative. For the first time, players can choose the initial province, facing unique challenges in each region, such as balancing the emperor's demands with local needs, deciding between adopting Celtic culture or imposing Roman traditions, and shaping the destiny of their provinces through strategic choices. The game maintains the traditional focus of the Anno franchise on construction and management, but introduces innovations that deepen the experience. Players will manage complex production chains, build detailed cities with visual elements such as children playing in the streets or crowds in arenas, and deal with logistical aspects, such as aqueducts and Namakea naval battles. Well, that was the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and see you in the next video.